All praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the everlasting, the self-sustenant, master of the day of judgment, our creator, master of the heavens and the earths, the one who sent down a mercy to the world, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Abbas Khan, and I'm here with my brother Junead Mumen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. And me and Junead, we're out here today, and we're going to talk about a very important reminder. A reminder that we need to remind ourselves on a daily basis. If not, make sure we hear a lecture about it at least on a weekly basis. If not, hear a lecture about it on a monthly basis. This is a reminder that's powerful. This is a reminder that we can't avoid in this life. In this life, many things are possible. But one thing is very certain. And what is this? This is death. Death is the only certain thing that will come. And one thing about death, these doctors, they can tell you have 5 weeks left to live. They can tell you you're sick. But only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the exact second when you're going to die. You know, there's stories of people that try to escape death. And they ran into the angel of death. They sailed oceans to get away from death. And when they were locked themselves in that room, and the angel of death was in front of him, the angel of death said, I didn't know why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me here. But he did. And the man was in front of him. The angel of death took his soul. What does this mean? You can't escape death. It's something that will always find you. And this is why it's important to remind yourself about it. Because the condition you go down there in is the condition that you lived above the ground in. And let me tell you something scary. You're going to spend more time down there than you did up here. If you go to your graveyard and walk towards the ends of it, you'll see some very old tombstones. Look at the dates on them. These people live 70 years, 80 years, 90 years maximum. And some of them died 90 years ago. They lived a life down there. And they're going to continue living that life for who knows until the day of Qiyamah when we're resurrected. So the condition you live above the ground in is the same condition that you're going to be when you're in that grave. So you have to prepare yourself.
To further expand on what Brother Abbas just said, there's a saying that really resonates with me and words that I live by. And I believe my father was the first one to speak them to me. And he told me that, son, in this life, you live one of two ways. You either live the good way, inshallah, you please Allah, or you live the bad way. And the saying that he told me was, son, you're going to die the way you lived. And he told me a story, I heard a story that very, very is connected to this saying. And it's a story of young, impressionable teenage boys who, just like me and Brother Abbas, were around the age of, I believe, say 19, 20, 21. They're very young, early in their lives, waiting to further enjoy their lives and live to the fullest. But thing is, they grew up here in the Western society, and the Western society had a very big effect on them. Instead of living like, how should I say, like a Muslim, they decided to embrace the Western culture instead of the culture that Prophet ﷺ bestowed upon us. It's not a culture, it's a religion. It's a lifestyle, a way to live. And unfortunately, these brothers, Allahu Alam, what would have happened later on in their lives if they were allowed to live. But the way they passed wasn't the way they were supposed to live. And what I mean by this is, the story goes that one day they were all in a car and they were bumping music. Say, for example, it could be any 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, anything. But they were bumping music, and I believe they're on the way to a party, or they were on the way back home. One of the two. But they're going down the highway, and Allah Azza wa Jal already written down the way we're going to die. No matter what transpires in our life, we all know there's an end, and that end is death. And the way these brothers were written down, the way to die, was that these brothers died listening to music. The way this whole thing transpired was that their car was going, I believe, 120, 140, and astaghfirullah, but they crashed into another car, and it was a very severe accident. I believe a T-bone, and all 4 or 3 of the brothers died. And the scary thing about this story is that the car was total, crashed, everything was destroyed, but the only thing that wasn't destroyed was the music that was playing. How should I say?
Subhanallah.
The Bluetooth, the
music was still playing, and they were all dead.
Yes, sir.
The last thing they listened to.
Yes, sir. And the music was playing. That's what the cops confirmed. Everything else was destroyed, but the only thing that they could clearly hear was the music. So Bismillah, brothers, just think about it. We're going to be resurrected the way we died as well. That's a fact. And the way these brothers are going to be resurrected on Yawm al-Qiyamah is that music is going to be playing when they're being resurrected.
Yeah, on that note, just wanted to add in that the same way you die is the same way you'll be resurrected. Subhanallah, Junead, brother, you actually reminded me of a story. Back when I was young, I went to a Darul Uloom, right? And I remember there were these, it was a private school, it was a boarding school. I didn't board, I went home every day. But there were some of the brothers that did live there. One time they went in a car and they just were driving somewhere. And these brothers, they got into a car accident. And everyone died except the driver. Subhanallah, bro. Like, that's scary, bro. And bro, I'm trying to ease up listening to music. Because we shouldn't be listening to that. That's garbage, right?
Definitely.
But one of the biggest reasons that helped me was that when I would drive, bro, I would think, what if, how dangerous the road is? How much casualties happen every day? Right? They're only increasing, right? Bro, imagine you're driving on the road and you're listening to music, unaware of, that today could be your final day. And the next time you'll see the light of this world is on the day of Qiyamah. Imagine you're listening to music and you die in that car. Regular day, you're bumping your tunes, but what happens is you get bashed by a car, you're dead. You get resurrected on the day of Qiyamah, and all you're hearing is the same bumping tune, the same Snoop Dogg, whatever it is you're listening to. Is that really the way you want to die? Some people want to die. Like, guys, let's be real. How do we all want to die? We all want to die on a Friday in sujood. We all want to die during Hajj, right? We all want to die in Mecca, Medina. We all want to die during Fajr Salah in sujood. We all want to die in, some of us wish to die as martyrs. MashaAllah. Inshallah, some of us get that opportunity. And we take it like with pure intentions, right? That's how we all want to die, bro. But you don't know when death is coming for you. So if you're driving in a car playing music and a car hits you, well, guess what, akhi? All those thoughts, all those imaginations you had that you didn't practice, that you didn't work for, they were gone in an instant because you didn't give up this habit and you died. And let me tell you something about death. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take a person when it is best for them. Sometimes maybe we see Muslim brothers that at 21 and 25 passing away. And we ask ourselves why, right? Maybe this was the pinnacle of how high their deen was going to get. And after that, it was just going to be downhill. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took them at that time. So it gets you thinking, you have to fear, well, what if I stop practicing my deen now? And it only starts going downhill? Then what? Then I'm going to die at a young age. Like, we don't know these things, right? But sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you alive because He knows you're going to do better. There's just some things about death. And this reminds me of the death of our beloved Habibullah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And as he was dying, bro, he was in his bed and he was rolling and he was in pain. The pangs of death came to him. So when you die, this is for everyone. This isn't just for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This wasn't a punishment. This is just a symptom. It's a sign that you're about to die. You have the pangs of death come for you in your stomach and you feel this pain. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she saw this, right? And she is the one that said that she saw her husband Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam with the pangs of death affecting him. So this is one of the symptoms of death. So it makes you wonder, it makes you scared, right? And then when you pass away, when we enter the grave, I'm not even going to go there yet. When we pass away, and this way we lived our life is the way our soul is going to be taken from us. If you pass away as a righteous Muslim, the angels will come and take your soul right? And they'll come in a beautiful manner, right? The beautiful angel will take your soul from you, and it'll shroud your soul with the flowers of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who get their soul, the ruh, shrouded with the flowers of Jannah, bro.
One thing I want to say is that no one can escape death. No one can cheat death. Death is going to come for everybody. But the thing with death is that humans believe they can, say for example, I wouldn't say cheat death, but they think they can determine their own death. Saying that Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't have the power to determine anything. Saying that Allah Azza wa Jal is that they can determine their own fate, but that's not the case. There's a story of a brother in India who thought he could challenge Allah Azza wa Jal, saying that I'm not gonna wait for Allah Azza wa Jal to kill me. I'm going to kill myself just so I can prove a point to Allah that He's not going to take away my freedom. Say for example, He's not going to take away what's mine. That's stupid because everything, first of all, belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. First, like Allah Azza wa Jal created us as His slaves, and that's a fact. Allah Azza wa Jal already predestined everything.
Allah.
So what this brother decided to do was, I'm going to kill myself. I don't remember the exact date, but he told the entire town that I'm going to kill myself on this specific date. Let's say it's November right now. It's November the 25th. He said I'm going to kill myself on November the 25th. But little do you know, Allah is the best of planners. So he got on top of a building, and he was just livid the entire day, saying that he was just planning his death. What he's going to do, I'm going to jump off my house, and I'm going to kill myself. He said, I'm going to kill myself on November the 25th at this specific time. Say, for example, it's midnight, 11:59. I'm going to kill myself at 12:01 or 12 o'clock.
Example.
But little this brother know, like I said, Allah is the best of planners. So when he did decide to jump and everyone was gathered around telling him not to, he jumped. He died, but Bismillah, a miracle happened. I want to say in the brother's case, but this is Allah Azza wa Jal showing He's the best of planners. He died not on the 25th, but on the 24th. So when he said, I'm going to jump at 12, just when the 25th happens and kill myself, the brother died, I believe it was either 11:59, when he mistook the clock. It was either 11:59 or 11:58. So the brother died before his death.
Subhanallah.
That goes to show that no matter what, Allah is the best of planners. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
And going back to what Brother Abbas said about having a good death, living the way, you're going to die the way you lived. There was another story about, I forgot, was it a priest or it was a priest or, no, sorry, it wasn't a priest.
Wait, Junead, bro. I just wanted to add in one thing, bro.
Go right ahead, brother.
You said, Allah is the best of planners. I want to give you guys a Quran ayat. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. What does this mean? It means the disbelievers plan and Allah plans. Indeed, Allah is the best of planners. So whether you're trying to, first of all, if you want to commit suicide, just know that the punishment is that when you go to Jahannam, that's the only thing that you're going to be doing. The way you committed suicide, it's going to be on repetition. If you jumped off a building in Jahannam, you're going to jump off a building infinite amount of times, right? If you drowned yourself, right, in an ocean, in Jahannam, bro, you're just going to continue to drown yourself, to choke. However it's going to happen, right? So, but then what if someone tries to kill you? We have to remember, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. If you're a practicing Muslim, right, and someone's trying to hurt you, and you have belief that, anyone can harm me, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and if He determines and He deems that no one harms me, no one will harm me. No one will touch me, they won't get close to me. You have to have this faith. So you have to have this faith. Alhamdulillah.
So back to what I was saying. It was a very beautiful ayah, Brother Abbas. The story was about a monk. So I'm sure majority of the viewers right now are familiar with the story of Barsisa, the monk who committed zina with the sister of two brothers who were out going to war. He was the one day asked, because he was a very pious monk at the time, and asked them to take care of her since they're going out to war, out to jihad. And he did take care of her, but shaitan is the best, I would say the best whisperer. He gives the best waswasa. And he was in his ear the entire time telling him that this sister must be lonely, this sister must be, craving some type of attention. She needs to talk to someone or else she'll go crazy. And he started off by giving food to her, I believe, in front of the house, in front of her door, and just leaving. He would knock and he would leave. But this time, after he got the waswasa, he decided that maybe she does need to talk to someone else, she'll go crazy. So he left the food, knocked, and he asked her a few questions, how she was doing, this and that. And he kept doing this until it led to further conversation. It kept going further and further, and shaitan kept on giving him waswasa to a point where he ended up committing zina with the sister. And after he committed zina with the sister, he found out that she was pregnant. So now shaitan is giving him waswasa, saying, oh, what's going to happen when the brothers come back? What are you going to do? This and that. He gave him a suggestion to murder her, I guess. And that he thought that was the best option. So he killed her and the unborn child and buried her, I believe, under a tree.
Yeah, I remember this.
And when the brothers came back for her, they asked, where's our sister? He made up a lie. And I don't know exactly, brother. Do you remember how they found out?
I don't remember, bro.
But one way or another, they found out and they took Barsisa to court. So now Barsisa is... He's worried. He's frantic. He doesn't know what to do. They found the evidence. They found the sister that he committed zina with dead and the unborn child dead. So now they want to kill Barsisa. So Barsisa is he doesn't want to die. And shaitan comes to him at the last second, telling him, if you commit sajda to me, if you prostrate to me, I'll let you live. I'll protect you. And he committed he did sajda, he committed shirk, and he died. Allah took his life then and there while he committed shirk. So the story of this is not to follow. Death is certain, right? But it's it's like you're gonna die the way you lived. If you listen to shaitan, if you continue listening to him, it's gonna lead you, like Brother Abbas said, it's gonna keep furthering you down to a point where in Barsisa's sake, he committed shirk. Allahu Alam knows what happens to us if we listen to shaitan. So we have to constantly repel him. But in another case, Allah is the most merciful and the most kind. And there was another monk. Inshallah, this last story. So there was another monk, and I forgot the Maulana's name, but he gave a very beautiful story of a monk similar to Barsisa. So in this case, the monk still committed zina with the woman, but he didn't listen to shaitan. He listened to him at first, but Allah is the best of planning. He's the best. He's the most merciful and the most kind. What this brother did was he left that town altogether. He left the masjid he was worshipping Allah in his entire life, and he left to another town. And what the first thing he did was go to the masjid and just prostrate. He prostrated. There were days, I believe they said a week, where he didn't even go without food. All he did was constantly pray and ask forgiveness. And inshallah, one day the brother saw him in the mosque, and he was in sujood. And they thought he was been there for a while. Let's get him something to eat, a piece of bread. And they got him food. But what they found out was that he passed away. Subhanallah, he passed away in sujood. So the whole point of these two stories is that if you listen to shaitan, you end up like Barsisa. And death is certain, right? So you end up going down the wrong path and you die the wrong way. But if you have tawakkul, if you have fear in Allah, if you have patience in Allah, and you ask for repentance, knowing Allah is the best, the most merciful and the most kind, and after you've committed the action, and you go and you ask for forgiveness and you continue to do good actions, inshallah you pass away with knowing that Allah forgave you and knowing that you've done good. So, bismillah.
So, I think one of the biggest takeaways, one thing that we should learn from this story is that wallahi, shaitan is patient. Shaitan is very patient. You see, patience is like a gun. It's not the gun that's bad, it's how it's used. It's the same thing with patience. We can be patient for good things to happen, right? But shaitan is patient for bad things to happen. Remember, shaitan's in no rush. Shaitan will whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper for years until you commit that one sin. This is how shaitan is. He's very patient. So as shaitan is patient with you, waiting for you to commit the sin, you have to be patient in this dunya and be strong with your tawakkul. And have your faith in Allah and pray your salah and read your Quran and be in constant adhkar. Constantly make dhikr. Constantly be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because shaitan is patient. He just wants you to slip up once. It doesn't matter. He'll wait months. Months, I tell you, for you to slip up. So remember, the same way shaitan has patience for you to slip up, wallahi, you have the most patience in this dunya, and you hold on to it, and you hold strong. And you remember there's an akhirah. But more importantly, remember there's death. Because death is going to get you first. Death is that portal into the akhirah. And we want this portal, we want this entrance to be beautiful. We want our graves to welcome us beautifully. We want our souls to leave our body beautifully. And in order to do this, we have to live a beautiful life as a practicing Muslim. Inshallah, become a righteous Muslim, one of the elite Muslims. Inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.